The best marketers are not looking for sales. They're looking for signal. All I want is a signal that you could be interested in something. You talk a lot about so many different things in business, but when it comes down to it, you're a really good marketer.
Yeah. Well, I think you said it when you started off. Selling is really hard when you don't do any marketing because there's no pre-frame for anything going into the process, right?
Yes.
So why is that when a Gary Vaynerchuk or a Alex Hormozi walks into an appointment, why have they already pre-sold the product, the service, the opportunity? Because of all the marketing beforehand. And so if you don't think of yourself as a marketer, think of yourself as marketing actually accelerating the sales conversion process. And so when you separate the two things, you're like, oh, marketing is just to get me an appointment and then I'm just going to sell. Well, no. If you just think of everything as marketing, the sale becomes so much easier. Think of somebody sitting in the back of a car, reading your email, and assume they're drunk. Yeah. That's who you should be writing to because you want to be able to influence the subconscious, and they're only skimming. So you want your sentences to be short. You want, easy punctuation. You don't want long paragraphs because you're trying to get the communication there. And as soon as someone sees an email or sees a piece of text, if it feels like it's, larger paragraphs, it feels unapproachable. They're like, I'll just read this later because they want more time to read things that are dense. But instead, if you take that same paragraph and say, woof, and that was the only word you used, then I know what's coming next is something interesting, something that's difficult. So I'm like, woof, I lost $14,000. Now, if you just do that, they're like, I want to read more. So the job of every sentence becomes the role to sell the next sentence as opposed to selling each paragraph. So you make it really easy readability. And I think the interesting part is we have no idea what's going to work. So what my team does, they love longer form content like this so they can say, hey, let me go look at Neil and Sharran talking and maybe I can slice a couple of things to get the right hook. We had a video that my team thought would perform really well. And it said the theme of the video was 80% equals 100%, which is a unique theme. Yeah. And it totally flopped. And so one of the deals that I have with my production team is we don't care about views. We care more about shares and saves. And so if we don't get, X number of shares, they have to recut the video to get more shares. And so he was like, wait, I don't know why this didn't perform. He took the same exact video, changed the first 3 seconds, and published the same video, and it got 10x the views.
So what did he change?
The hook was, instead of it being 80% equals 100%, the hook was, here's how I do 4-day work weeks. Yeah. And the 4-day work week thing performed really better. You can go watch it on my content run. And the way we figured that,
that's easier to understand.
Exactly, because 80% to 100% was too complex. It had jargon to it. The interesting part, I told my team to stop thinking about it as a call to action because now we're, with language, you're forcing somebody to do something, right? I started telling my team.
It sounds salesy.
Yeah, I want to tell my team I need to incentivize them to action. So what is the incentive to action? So
it's ICA.
I want to incentive them to action. And so in most of my videos, my team will just say, hey, if you want Sharran's gift on the top things that, the top trainings he's done for free, just comment the word gift. So the standard response is on everything, if they don't know the caption, they'll do a little caption and they say comment the word gift. And the crazy part is we still get hundreds of people commenting the word gift, even though I thought that it's been used and reused for like over a couple of years now. And when you change your minimum standard, you completely change the way you look at the world. And so if you and I were operating a business right now and we wanted to double the business, we would say, okay, what can we do to double this business? Let's tweak the sales funnel on the front end. Let's optimize the operation on the back end. Neil and Sharran are going to go on a roadshow. Hey, we got it to double. Like we would brute force double the business that we had. Yeah. But if you and I were given the challenge that we had to 10x our business, you'd be like, whoa, hold on. We need to redraw what this even looks like. So what it forces us to do is it forces us to drop our baggage and saying, hey, I may have to throw away something that is not excellent to actually build a thing that is bigger. And that is a really difficult exercise to do. But once you do it, you start to realize that there's no way you're going to hit that 10x growth or no way you're going to hit 20 million versus 2 unless you give away or break up what you have already built. And that's why 10x is easier than 2x because we can brute force the 2x. We can't brute force the 10x.
I don't think of, and then the other part with quantity versus quality, I think the game of just posting clips for the sake of posting is dead.
Right.
Like, people would just typically give this podcast to some guy in Philippines and be like, hey, find 20 clips and let's get them posted.
Yeah. Well, the quantity versus quality thing is super important. But also the only way you get the quality is to do the quantity. And I'll tell you this, I never believed, like 10 years ago, I was like, what is this YouTube thing? I could do this marketing thing tomorrow. I could do the sales thing tomorrow. I could do this process thing tomorrow, but I need to spend time making the content today. And whatever that may mean, I have to focus on that. And that she tripled her income by just switching the fact that she went from being an entrepreneur to a content creator.
Yeah, I think this is the problem that most people face is like they need something today. You know, you need something right now. And the problem is like if you're always doing things that would only benefit you this week, this month's numbers, it works, you'll make money, but at the end of the day, like what's the exit? Like what's the long-term strategy?
Right.
So I always tell people in this industry, like, dude, what's the plan to get out of here?
Yeah.
Like, are we just going to keep selling more houses or loans or insurance policies or what? Like, what's our plan? And some of them, it's like, dude, make more money, put it into these commercial real estate or put it into the market and then I'll retire. That's cool. But like from a brand perspective, I would like to have some value to all this work I've done. And so I think of like I want to do things that would benefit Neil this month.
You're right.
But then I also want to do something that would benefit the Neil 10 years from now.
Right.
And that's why we work out.
Right.
And that's the exact reason why I think I need to post something on Instagram stories today. It's not because I'm going to get a sale today. And I think people like, they just don't get that.
Yeah.
And so that's why they won't do it. You know, and I feel bad for them. Yeah.
So my content became in service of supporting others and fostering new relationships.
That is like pick a service, ConvertKit, freaking MailChimp, Constant Contact, whatever you said, Active Campaign. Pick something. Literally, what's the best one, bro? The best one is the one you freaking pick.
Yeah.
Just pick one, bro. I don't care what it is. And then all of a sudden, your goal is to do this. And so this is the thing that changed the game for me, Sharang. And I know you understand this as well, as I feel like the best marketers the best marketers are not looking for sales. They're looking for signal.
That's it.
So all I want is a signal that you could be interested in something. Because I know, like, how much would you say if you had to put $1 on it, your email list is worth to you? What would you sell it for? If you could never email it again and you just had to sell it to me right now.
So I'll answer it differently. It is the most valuable asset in my business. I back up my list on autopilot daily. If I lost my list, that would be like losing my third child, and I have 2 children. Like it is that important, because if the world goes down the handbasket, I can write one email and reboot my entire life.
So it's priceless.
It's priceless.
Yes. You're here, closed deal with the cash is here. What's one step we could put in the middle?
Right.
That's a email, that's a webinar, that's a video, that's a podcast, whatever that thing is.
Right.
The whole goal of your day should be to just get people there. Right. And then from there, you'll have so many people there that you can then do sales activity here.
Right.
The problem is people are just running sales activity to get them to make the whole journey on their own. Yeah. And there's not that many people that are interested that can do that right now.
Yeah.
Especially in today's market.
I'll tell you, this one thing from a sales perspective will be super helpful to people. A lot of times we think about exactly like what you said. Hey, I'm going to go run an ad to get a sale. Instead, think about what is the baby step that I can get them to take?
Micro conversion.
Right. The step that is so easy. They click on something, they open something, they're delightful something, they share something. What is the easiest thing that they can do? And so a lot of times I'll talk to real estate agents around the country and I'll say, hey, he's like, well, I call. I'm like, great, you're calling. I've been calling all these leads. I've been getting these inbounds. But Sharang, none of them want to do anything right now. Everyone is like later. And I go, okay, give me an example. They're like, well, I talked to Neil and Neil is, if it's March right now, Neil's a November buyer. I'm like, which is, if you're interested, just reply and I'll get you all the details. Now, here's the magic around this email. There is no address, there's no links, and there are no pictures. So what this does is it forces them to hit reply.
Yeah.
Because we know that all conversion happens in conversation. All I'm trying to do is every week, Sharang is sending out a deal of the week. So one deal of the week is 1.3 million. One deal
trying
of the
to
week,
get them to raise their hand.
Yes. One deal of the week is a condo. One deal of the week is a high-end property. One deal of the week is like a short sale. But they don't know the address. They don't know any links. And if you can just do that and you do it every single week, what it does, it's actually better than a just listed or a just sold, because it makes the consumer feel like Neil has every deal every week. And it's constant. Oh, I'm thinking about selling my house. Maybe I should ask him if there are other deals. Like maybe I'm thinking about buying, so I should ask him if there are other deals. Maybe I'm thinking about investing. Maybe I should ask him if he has a deal for me. You become like the vendor of opportunities